The world of Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 is a beautiful but sad place. Imagine a city called Lumiere, an island floating in the ocean. Every year, a mysterious figure called the Paintress appears. She paints a number on a giant stone tower, the monolith that can be seen from Lumiere. This number goes down by 1 each year, starting from 100. Anyone in Lumiere whose age matches that number disappears, turning into flower petals. This event is called the Gommage, or the erasing. Brave people from Lumiere form expeditions to stop the Paintress. Our story follows Expedition 33, 67 years later. To understand what's happening, we need to go back, even before the first Gommage. There was a family, the Dandrém family, a mother Aline, a father Renoir, and their 3 children, the oldest daughter Clair, the middle son Verso, and the youngest daughter Alicia. They were special. They were painters, meaning they could paint entire worlds onto canvases and even go inside them. They were like gods in their own painted worlds. Verso, the son, was very talented, especially with music, but he also painted. He created a special canvas world as a child, filled with creatures like the friendly Gestels and Grandis, and his companions Esca and Minoko, based on his toys and family dogs. Tragedy struck this family. A fire, started by rivals called the Writers' Guild who tricked Alicia, engulfed their manor. Verso bravely saved Alicia but sadly died in the fire. Alicia was scarred and deeply blamed herself. Aline, the mother, was heartbroken. She found Verso's childhood canvas, which still held a tiny piece of his soul, a small, sad boy forced to keep painting. Aline went inside this painted world to escape her sadness and be close to Verso again. Inside, Aline, now the Paintress, started repainting things. She even made painted copies of her family, a painted Renoir, a painted Verso, a painted Clair, and a ghostly, shunned version of Alicia, because Aline secretly wished Alicia had died instead of Verso. These painted family members couldn't age. The real Renoir, Aline's husband, knew staying in a painted world for too long was dangerous. Aline had saved him from that once. So, he went into Verso's canvas to bring Aline back. But Aline refused. She was lost in her grief. Their argument inside the canvas was like a battle between gods. This caused a huge event called the Fracture, which broke the painted world apart. The city of Lumiere, which Aline had painted to look like Paris, was split off into an island. Aline, as the Paintress, built the giant monolith and imprisoned the real Renoir underneath it. She started painting the descending numbers on the monolith. This wasn't to kill people. It was a warning. The real Renoir, even trapped, was trying to erase the painted world to force Aline out. His power was causing the Gommage, starting with the oldest people Aline had painted, age 100, and going down each year. Aline's power was fading, and she couldn't stop him completely. The people of Lumiere misunderstood, they thought the Paintress was the one causing the Gommage. Meanwhile, the real Clair, the oldest daughter, also entered the canvas. She wanted her parents back to deal with the writers in the real world. She found her own painted copy, was disgusted by it, and corrupted it. This corrupted painted Clair was forced to create an army of monsters called Nevrons. These Nevrons absorbed chroma, the magical life energy of the painted world, further weakening Aline. The first expedition, Expedition 0, included the painted Renoir and painted Verso. Their goal was to find people lost in the fracture. They, and some others from this expedition, became immortal, meaning they stopped aging and couldn't be gommaged. The real Clair confronted Expedition 0, told them the truth about their world being a painting, and when they refused to leave, she defeated most of them. Only the immortal painted Renoir and painted Verso survived. After this, the painted Renoir decided he needed to protect the canvas and the Paintress, Aline, to protect his painted family's immortality. He started stopping all future expeditions from Lumiere, believing they were a threat. The painted Verso helped him for a while but grew tired of the fighting and seeing his friends die. Expeditions from Lumiere kept coming, year after year, trying to stop the Paintress, not knowing the real story. Many brave people died. Now, let's jump to just before Expedition 33. In the real world, Alicia, still blaming herself for Verso's death, was convinced by her sister Clea to enter Verso's canvas to help get their parents out. Alicia and Clea hid the physical canvas painting so Aline couldn't get back in if she was forced out. But when Alicia entered the canvas, she panicked. This caused her to be painted over by Aline's magic. She lost her memories and was reborn in Lumiere as a new baby girl named Myel. Clea then told the painted Verso, who was now on his own, no longer with painted Renoir, to watch over Myel, this reborn Alicia. Myel grew up an orphan, as her painted parents were gommaged. She was eventually adopted by a kind inventor named Gustav and his sister Emma. This brings us to Expedition 33. Gustav, now 33, is set to lead it. Myel, though only 16, insists on joining. Today is the Gommage of 34. Gustav has to watch his love, Sophie, who is 34, disappear. This hardens his resolve to stop the Paintress. Expedition 33 lands on the dangerous main continent. They are immediately attacked by the old, white-haired painted Renoir. Many die. Gustav is knocked out but survives. He meets up with Lumiere, a smart scientist. They find a note left by the painted Verso, saying he has taken Myel to safety in a strange, shifting manner. The team, now Gustav, Myel, and Lumiere, reunite. They are soon joined by Seal, another survivor from the beach, who became a champion among the Gestals. The Gestals are those creatures Verso painted as a child. Their chief tells them to find Eska, another of Verso's childhood creations, a giant, jolly creature. Eska agrees to help them if they retrieve his magical rocks. During their journey, Myel has strange visions of the masked girl, real Alicia with her scars, and the old man, painted Renoir, who warn her to go home. Tragically, Gustav is killed by the painted Renoir while protecting Myel. Just as Myel is about to be struck, the painted Verso appears and saves her. He reveals the old man is Renoir, his commander from Expedition 0, and that they are both immortal. Verso, the painted one, now joins Myel, Lumiere, and Seal. Their journey continues. They meet Minoko, another of Verso's childhood creations, a monkey-like gestal who can transform into beasts. He joins them. They learn that Verso is actually the painted Renoir's son. They also encounter the curator, a mysterious shadowy figure who seems connected to Myel. To reach the Paintress, they need to destroy giant beings called axons, which were painted by the real Renoir to represent his family members. With the axons' hearts, the curator forges a weapon for Myel to break the barrier around the monolith. Inside the monolith, they climb through strange reflections of places they've been. They face the painted Renoir one last time. The curator appears and reveals he is a part of the real Renoir, Alicia's father, his essence leaking from his prison. With Myel's help, who is unknowingly tapping into her painter powers, they defeat the painted Renoir. Finally, they reach the Paintress, Aline. She is confused and grieving, not fully understanding who they are. She thinks Myel is a trick, not her real daughter Alicia. They fight. Aline is powerful, but in the end, she seems to recognize something in Myel and protects the team from a final blast before fading away, whispering Alicia's name. Expedition 33 has succeeded. Or so they think. They return to Lumiere as heroes. But then, a shockwave from the broken monolith, where the real Renoir was trapped, sweeps through Lumiere. Everyone from the painted world gets gommaged and disappears, except the painted Verso. The real Renoir is free, and he's erasing the canvas. Myel, now in a void, regains all her memories. She is Alicia, the painter. She returns to the empty painted world and finds the painted Verso. Her real father, Renoir, appears. Alicia, now preferring to be Myel, wants to save this world and her friends. Renoir refuses, saying the canvas is too dangerous, it will trap her like it did her mother. Myel, using her painter powers, brings back Luan and Seal. She plans to repaint everyone. She and her team fight their way to confront her father, the real Renoir. Her mother, Aline, now out of the canvas but still weak, even appears to help Myel briefly. Myel convinces her father to trust her and leave the canvas, promising she won't get lost like Aline did. Renoir agrees and leaves. Now, only Myel and the painted Verso remain. They enter a space between worlds and find the small boy, the last piece of the real Verso's soul, still endlessly painting to keep the canvas alive. The painted Verso is tired. He wants the painting, and himself, to finally end. But Myel wants this world, her friends, and this version of her brother, to live. This leads to one last choice, and two possible endings. If Myel wins the fight, she keeps the painted world alive. She repaints everyone, including Gustav. The painted Verso gets to play his music for all of Lumiere. But Myel's face is streaked with paint, just like her mother's. She might be repeating Aline's mistake, getting lost in a beautiful fantasy. If the painted Verso wins, he convinces Myel to let go. The painted world and everyone in it, including himself and the boy soul of Verso, fade away. In the real world, the Dandrém family, Aline, Renoir, Clair, and Alicia, finally find peace at the real Verso's grave. Alicia sees a brief vision of her friends from Expedition 33, a bittersweet memory of the life she lived in the canvas. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 tells a deep story about grief, family, and the power of creation. It shows how art can be a way to escape, but also a way to get lost. What one person paints as a warning, another sees as a threat, and what starts as an act of love can lead to worlds of conflict.